It was supposed to be a quiet night by the lake. Just a couple, a rooftop tent, and a movie to wind down. But when you're camped in the middle of nowhere and headlights come barreling toward you at midnight, the movie becomes the least of your concerns. So, what happened? The first video tonight comes from Brian and Marisa, an independent outdoor adventure channel that spends most of their time exploring the rugged backcountry of the Pacific Northwest, overlanding, truck camping, remote wilderness locations most people never see. The kind of camping where the nearest neighbor is miles away, which is usually the point. The footage exists, so here we are. It's March 6th, 2026. Coastal mountains near Long Beach, Washington.
Oh, did you hear that over there? I heard a crack over there. Did you hear it? I thought I heard something too. Again. Interesting. Heard a crack over there.
I feel like we're like ghost hunting, except for in the forest.
Right?
Are you go up in the tent yet?
It's 8:30. Oh, jeez.
Secluded lakeside campsite. Fire burning low. The kind of silence that only exists when you're genuinely off-grid and nothing knows you're there. Then the woods start talking. Heavy branches cracking in the pitch black beyond the firelight, close enough to kill the conversation entirely. They retreat into the rooftop tent, put a movie on, and try to convince themselves it was nothing.
It's just pulled up right next to the car. Walking around in the water.
There's another car somewhere.
Stay here.
You just want to back up right now.
Just stay here.
A vehicle comes flying down the remote access road, screaming, and plows straight into their camp space. Brian and Marisa are in the rooftop tent, headlights below them, engine idling feet away. They're whispering, they're recording. They have no idea if this is a wrong turn or the start of something significantly worse.
They run over our light.
Yeah.
What'd they do to it?
It's just cracked and...
No, I meant the GoPro.
I don't know.
It was like turned around?
It was turned around.
The main vehicle speeds off. Brian walks down to investigate and finds the second car, blacked out, engine running, completely still in total darkness, watching, not broken down, not lost, just there, parked on an access road in the middle of nowhere at midnight with its lights off. They don't discuss it for long. 20 minutes later, they're packed up and driving down the mountain in the dark. An hour and a half home. The second car vanishes. Never explained. Never identified. The blackout vehicle just stops being there. Which is somehow worse than if it had followed them. In all their years of dispersed camping, they'd never felt genuinely unsafe before. This was the first time. The branches in the dark, the vehicle that plowed in, the crushed light, the blacked-out car that was just watching. When you're that far from help, the only thing between you and whoever shows up is nothing at all. That was way too close. What makes someone hike 12 kilometers up to 8,500 feet in the Canadian Rockies after 4 days of relentless rain? For these brothers, it's the promise of a summit and maybe a gourmet meal cooked over an open flame. But when you're knee-deep in snow with grizzly bears between you and the top, the menu becomes the least of your concerns. Let's see what happened. It's May 31st, 2025, Bighorn Country, Landslide Lake Trail, near Calgary, Alberta. Taste of outdoors, a rugged wilderness channel that combines high-altitude hiking with what they call bushcraft gourmet, fresh meals over open flames in extreme conditions. They're drawn to heavy predator environments, which is exactly where this story takes us. He made it out with the footage.
Stop on the road, but look at this. White-tailed deer. Those are the velvets. Dog, biru nahi aayi. Bear. Holy we just got here and there's a grizzly right in front of me. Bear! Hey bear! Hey bear! Hey bear!
2 a.m., they step out of the vehicle to look at some white-tailed deer. And there's a grizzly bear standing directly in front of them. No warning, no buildup, just a grizzly bear. They get back in the car. They go to sleep. They get up and do the hike anyway.
All the way to my thighs. Yeah, it's just too risky. Whoa. You see? That's scary. I want to be on solid ground. All right, so we are almost at the summit. The summit is right up there. But the problem is we don't have proper snow gear and we were not expecting this much snow. So a little change of plans. We're not going to go over the summit. We're going to hike back down a mile where there's lots of firewood. Up here in the Alpine.
Descent, dense forest path. And there they are. Massive fresh grizzly paw prints pressed into the soft silt of the exact trail they're walking. Still fresh. Same corridor, same direction. Something very large was here very recently. And may still be.
God damn, we just spotted another black bear. And it was huge. It ran off as soon as we shouted, but there's a lot of bears here. You gotta be careful, very careful. It was somewhere down there. All right, this camp spot is as good as any. You've got pretty flat ground, amazing views, and an already built fire pit. So that makes our life a lot easier. The only concern is we spotted a bear about 100 meters up there. I mean, yeah, you don't want to sleep with the bears. Not the first choice for me, but I don't know if you're gonna find a better camping site than this. I think this is it. First things first, we gotta see where the flattest ground is. It's not bad. It's got a little slope to it, but it should be okay.
Camp setup. 300 feet up the slope, a massive black bear. Just standing there, watching them arrange their tents. It retreats when they shout, but it doesn't go far, and they know it. They pitch the tent anyway, because the alternative is sleeping in the car, which is where the 2 a.m. Grizzly was. Final descent. Steep, unstable, still calling out into the trees every few yards because they've learned by now that silence is a gamble in this corridor. They make it down, cook the lavish breakfast, navigate the mud back to the car, and reflect that in all of that. They never actually reached the summit, abandoned the goal, survived 3 bear encounters, came home with footage and all their limbs. Worth it. They seem to think so. Me? I'm turning back at the first grizzly tracks, every time. A boggy bank in Wrexham doesn't sound like the kind of place you'd return to voluntarily. Just mud, just trees, just a steep ridge with a history of drowning tragedies and a body in a suitcase. But the brothers are back, 1 year after fleeing in pure panic from something he couldn't explain. So, what happened? It's November 22nd, 2024, remote woodland near Hightown Barracks, Wrexham. Brothers Wild, a UK-based channel blending wild camping, bushcraft, and overnight ghost hunting at active, eerie locations. Both of them noted immediately that heavy, persistent sensation of being watched. Before anything has even happened, the woods already feel wrong.
Why we heard like a mumbling voice.
Yeah, woman's. I heard that.
Do you hear the woman's voice?
Over there.
Shh. You hear that knocking?
Yeah. Can you hear that as well?
That's a bird.
No, it's not. Oh, yeah.
Why is it getting closer? I thought I'd just seen someone then, it's my imagination. There's definitely a woman murmuring.
Yeah,
like,
I heard it. Come to you.
Daytime, campfire, wet socks on a line, and a woman's voice, murmuring and humming, from the dark of the surrounding trees. Clear, distinct, nobody there. Rich is hundreds of yards away. The host is alone by the fire. The voice is not him. The voice fades. The knocking starts, loud, unnatural, erupting from the brush and moving toward the campsite. Not random, not falling branches, closing distance, deliberately.
Mate, I can hear two guys having a conversation and no one's there. No one's there, mate. There, where your tent is now, I heard it coming from there. Right next to your tent.
Haunted tent down. So the weird feeling, I keep looking.
It does. I just said to Rich, he said he keeps looking around. I said, look at the last video. I was doing exactly the same thing. Just like you're being watched. It does feel like you're being watched here. It really does.
Dead of night. They ask the entity to make itself known. The forest answers immediately. A heavy, deliberate double knock, knock knock, striking a nearby tree trunk. Direct, on cue, unmistakable.
The ball's gone off on its own. Whoa! Face again, same again. Face, base, glove, wall load will non-fault. It's trying to say something, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Can you make that ball go off again? The cat ball by the tent. You just made it move, made it flash. What was that?
Like a scream.
That's a scream.
Yeah, definitely a scream. Oh!
Oh dear.
No, red.
Is that you making that noise? I just seen something move over there, Rich.
Is that you over there?
What is that? Anyone there? Can Can you make a large bang on one of the trees?
A scream, disembodied, echoing through the dark woods. The EMF meter responds instantly, flickering wildly into the red. The equipment heard it too, a noise from the brush directly ahead. The camera feed begins visibly glitching, distorting, and then a wave of sweet fragrance sweeps straight through the campsite. No source, no explanation, just a smell that shouldn't be there, arriving at the exact worst moment. Rich retreats to his own tent, leaves the host alone on the active ridge. Temperatures drop to 6 degrees. The activity begins to settle. He stays, doesn't run, unlike last year. Whether that's brave or deeply unwise, I genuinely cannot tell, but I'm still trying to process the fact that he stayed there alone after all that. 6 p.m. The light is fading over a 400-year-old Scottish castle with no roof and a reputation for being haunted by a headless bagpiper. Most people would have set up camp hours ago or, more sensibly, chosen a different location entirely. But the tent is only going up now, directly facing the stone walls, as the sun disappears and the wildlife starts getting loud. Let's see what happened. It's May 17th, 2023. Kenmure Castle, New Galloway, Scotland. Lore and Explore, a UK-based channel investigating the history and hidden mysteries of Scotland's forgotten ruins. Walk and talk documentary style, mixed with solo overnight wild camping. Tonight's location is Kenmure Castle in New Galloway. 4 stories of roofless stone with a legendary burial site on the grounds. This is what came back.
Something a bit different. This is a haunted castle camp. It's where the headless piper's buried. A bit spooky tonight. I have my trusty. And what I can see as well, that's not the original stonework outside for a castle. Well, if I say castle, it's probably more a mansion house than a castle, but
Excellent weather, beautiful structure, no graffiti, just 4 centuries of natural erosion doing its quiet work. He walks the grounds, introduces the legend, a headless piper buried on site, said to haunt the ruins after dark. Just a story, probably. He seems convinced enough to set up camp directly in front of the castle walls as the sun starts going down, which is a choice. Spiral staircases, collapsed turrets, historic coats of arms being slowly consumed by nature. He explores, documents, and then pitches his tent facing the imposing dark stone, directly facing it. At dusk, alone, with the headless piper story still fresh in his head, the decision-making is questionable, but the footage is committed to.
I don't get much any more smell. I don't think you get much more spookier than that. Wee Perry's kind of whining there. Maybe she senses something untoward. Something lurking behind those castle walls. In there.
Sunset gone. The wilderness wakes up. Geese. The aggressive roaring of a male red deer somewhere close. Sounds that have explanations, but the volume of all of it together, in total darkness, next to a roofless 400-year-old stone ruin, stops being explainable and starts being overwhelming.
Fuck's that? There's bats out there. I've just spotted a bat as well. Jesus Christ, the f*** was that? So we bats, geese, a male deer roaring.
Something's going psst in the background. Birds twittering, sheep baaing. Oh man. Over here, this camera can pick that up there. It's really loud. You're going to get a wink sleep tonight. That's for sure. There's too much going on. Hear that? Jeez, oh. Noises everywhere. So that is it for tonight. It's after midnight. Myself and Perry are going to get some sleep here. It's absolutely miserable here. But we're going to get a bit of shut eye. So most of the noises that we heard earlier on have now settled down now, and unless some kind of headless piper playing bagpipes kind of appears, then we're good.
And then the castle itself starts making noise. Heavy banging, distinct creaking, echoing out from the pitch-black interior of an empty structure that has no reason to be making sounds. He lies there listening to a 400-year-old building creak in the dark and concludes, correctly, that peaceful sleep is not happening tonight. Activity settles after midnight. He and Perry get some broken sleep. Morning arrives gray and misted. No headless piper manifested. No bagpipes. Just a very atmospheric night in a very old ruin that held onto its secrets and let him leave undisturbed. The ruins let him go. This time. But honestly, the banging from inside an empty castle at midnight. Perry knew. Perry always knew. He's halfway through setting up the tent when the wind dies completely. The kind of silence that makes every other sound louder. Then, a heavy twig snaps just beyond the tree line. Deliberate, sharp, close. His dog Chingo goes rigid, staring into the pitch black. That's when you realize you're not alone. Let's get into it. The sixth and final video tonight comes from Kev's Outdoor Adventures, a UK-based wilderness channel blending wild camping with real-time paranormal and cryptid investigations. Working-class lads in the woods humor, banter between Kev and Viking, and early warning support from their canine companion. He made it out with the footage.
Yeah, cooked chow's food from sitting there chilling for a bit. And well, Viking didn't hear it, but I heard a twig snap over in that direction. Obviously he never heard it. But he's very alert, like, isn't he?
I don't even care, mate.
I don't care, but it's just weird that I heard a twig snap. It reminds me of where we are.
Bigfoot's around, you can have a burger if you want, so.
Let's see what Viking's doing, eh? Cooking them horrible
Love burgers, isn't it?
caramelized onion horrible burgers.
Sound amazing.
Right, I say I haven't had mine yet. I'll have mine in a bit, like. But yeah.
Like a Tadorfa bit.
Yeah?
Like a Tadorfa bit.
Yeah, to off a bit. I'll have it a bit, like. Charles is sleeping in the tent over there.
They activate the Spirit Talker voice box. Kev introduces himself, and almost immediately, the app outputs a specific surname. Johnson. Then, tears. Then a faint audio capture. Something resembling distant weeping, drifting through the woodland from no identifiable source.
The moths are getting into your face again. You hear that? Hey guys, that was definitely over.
A whistle cuts through the forest, clear, distinct, and wrong. Local birds don't whistle at this hour in this darkness. Something is making a sound that birds make. At a time, birds don't make it. From a tree line that showed no eye shine, 30 feet from their tents.
You hear it?
Sounds like a fucking, like a shout, isn't it? Like a.
Aye.
And just as they're retreating into the tents, a faint human shout echoes from deep within the completely empty woodland. Brief, distant, gone before they can triangulate it. Morning, sunrise, normal birdsong. The dread lifts like a switch. They break camp spotless and walk down to Winter's gibbet. Stand under the replica gibbet cage where William Winter's body was displayed in chains after his execution in 1792. Reflect on the night. Remain officially skeptical about Bigfoot. Acknowledge, quietly, that something surrounded their tents in the dark that they cannot explain. Looked like standard equipment testing. Felt like something else entirely. But honestly, Chingo knew from the first twig's snap. Dogs always know. That's it for tonight. If you watched all the way to the end, you're either very brave or you made some questionable life choices. Either way, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and click one of the videos on screen. I'll be back soon with more reasons to stay indoors. See you then. And if you made it this far, there was a hidden word somewhere in tonight's video. Drop it in the comments if you caught it.